Hey everyone, Football Guy here. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Throwback Thursday. I hope you're enjoying our focus on past football teams as much as I am. I just love learning about players, coaches, games, and stats of the past that may have been forgotten. Now let's start off today's episode with a recap of last week's Throwback Focus. Let's get to it. Last week our focus was on the 1982 Washington Redskins. It should be noted that in 1982, the players went on strike after the conclusion of the Week 2 football games. The strike lasted 57 days before a resolution was made. The 82 Redskins were led by another legendary coach in Joe Gibbs. He coached the Redskins twice in his coaching career. His first stint lasted for 12 years, from 1981 to 1992. His second stint lasted 4 years, from 2004 until 2007. In 1982, he guided the Redskins to an 8-1 record and won the NFC East. The Redskins marched through the NFC playoffs, beating each of their opponents by an average of 19 points on their way to defeating the Miami Dolphins 27-17 to win Super Bowl 17. Joe Theismann was the only quarterback for the Redskins to log stats in the strike-shortened season. He started all 9 regular season games and threw for over 2,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. He led the team through the playoffs, doing just enough to win each game. He threw for a total of 670 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions in the playoffs. And Theismann was voted to the Pro Bowl twice in his career and earned 1 first-team All-Pro selection. He was also the Offensive Player of the Year in 1983. The standout offensive line was nicknamed the Hogs because of their renowned ability to control the line of scrimmage and help power the running game. John Riggins, nicknamed Riggo and Diesel, led the rushing attack during the strike-shortened season with 553 yards on 177 attempts. Riggins played 14 years in the league, his last 9 with the Redskins. He held out the 1980 season due to a contract dispute and was a Pro Bowler in 1975 and earned his only first-team All-Pro selection in 1983. The wide receivers and tight ends on the team were given the collective nickname of the Fun Bunch and were known for their choreographed group celebrations in the end zone, usually a high five, following a touchdown. The Fun Bunch celebrations were discontinued in 1984 when NFL rule changes regarding excessive celebrations made such pre-planned group activities a penalty. Rookie Charlie Brown led all receivers with 32 catches for 690 yards and a whopping 21.6 yard per catch average. Brown was selected to his first of 2 Pro Bowls in 1982. The other was in 1983, and he played 6 years in the league. His best season came in 1983, catching 78 passes for 1,225 yards. Art Monk was the second leading receiver for the Redskins in 1982 with 35 catches and 447 yards. He played 16 years in the league, his first 14 seasons with the Redskins. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler in 84, 85, and 86, and was once selected to the All-Pro First Team in 1984. He led the league in receptions in 1984, his most productive season, with 106. The 1982 Washington Redskins defense led the league in points against, led by lone Pro Bowler safety Tony Peters. Rookie Vernon Dean would be tied for first on the team in interceptions with 3 and averaged 20 yards per return and was runner-up for the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive stalwart Dexter Manley led the team in sacks with 6.5 and also added 1 interception. Tony Peters, originally drafted by the Browns in 1975, played 10 years in the league and joined the Redskins in 1979. While he only had 1 interception in 1982, he proved to be a defensive leader and was selected to his only Pro Bowl appearance. Vernon Dean was selected in the second round of the draft and played in the league 7 years, his last with the Seahawks. He was the Redskins starting quarterback from 1983 until 1985 and started for them in Super Bowl 17. Todd Liebenstein played 4 years in the league, all of them with the Redskins. He started 15 games in 1983 and was the starting left defensive end for the Redskins in Super Bowl 18, which the Redskins lost to the Los Angeles Raiders by a score of 38-9. Ken Coffey, selected in the ninth round, started 5 games in 1983 and snagged 4 interceptions for his most productive season. He started 10 games in 1984 and another 9 in 1986 and tallied 7 career interceptions. Coffey was the starting strong safety for the Redskins in Super Bowl 18. Okay, now that we've finished our recap, let's see which team we'll be focusing on this week. As always, we'll spin 3 wheels. The first wheel will determine the team, the second wheel will determine the decade, and the third wheel will tell us the exact year we will focus on. Let's go ahead and get to it here. Spin the team wheel. See, slowing down to the Saints, the Giants, looks like the New York Jets. Yes, New York Jets. Now let's look for the decade. Here we go, spin that wheel. So the 70s, 80s, 90s. So it looks like the New York Jets of the 90s. So now let's see what exact year we're going to zero in on. Here we are. Let's see, get that spinning. Go. 1, 2. So it looks like the 1992 New York Jets. Thank you for watching, and I'll look for you in the comments.